What's up, multifarious? X-Dragon here with episode number 6 of our speed breakdown series. In this episode, I'm going to be showcasing a speedrun of Yume Penguin Monogatari. A very different kind of game. So, this game, how do I put this? To put it simply, this game is a short platformer in which your goal is to lose enough weight to get your girlfriend back. Did I lose you? Yeah. So, this is a very different kind of game, as I already mentioned. Your main goal of this game is actually to not complete any of the stages. The main goal is in fact to be at a low enough weight that when you do complete the stage, the game will continue. In fact, if you complete the level while still being above the weight goal, the game will make it seem like you're going to move on by going through another cutscene, when in fact it's actually a game over screen. And it'll give you the option to either retry the level or not. Now, I know you wouldn't know this considering the game is in Japanese. However, I'm showing this game for a better point than just showing off another speedrun. The point of this video is to tell you that any game can be speedrun. Yes, that might seem like some common knowledge or some common assumption that sure, I can just play this game fast and call it a speedrun. Well, some people don't think that. While this game isn't very popular, it doesn't mean that it's not speedrunnable. In fact, there are games that, while you would think couldn't be speedrun, are actually highly competitive. Let's take, for example, Star Fox. So, Star Fox is a complete and total auto-scroller game. That means there is very little fluctuation on how fast you can really go. I mean, there is a boost feature and a brake feature, not that, we use the brakes, that can speed you up or slow you down through a level. It's fairly predictable when you can use it, and you'll get used to it very quickly. However, that's just what you would see on the surface. In fact, one of the biggest parts of a Star Fox speedrun isn't just boosting or braking at the right time, or even killing the bosses quickly, but in fact it's lag optimization. Even roguelike games such as, Rogue Legacy can be speedrun. It's all whether or not you choose to even do so. Even a game as silly as this one can be considered a good speed game. So, what's my point in saying any of this? Well, rather than flocking to the nearest Mario, Zelda, or Mega Man game, it's important to pick a game that you yourself want to speedrun. I know this is getting a bit personal, but it's not about finding the popular game to play or speedrun. It's not even about finding the classic game to speedrun. Hell, a lot of games nowadays have their own speedrun or time trial mode. No, it's picking a speed game is more of a kind of commitment, I guess. If you want to run a popular game like Super Mario World, that's fine. No one's gonna, say, oh, you're only playing this because it's popular. But don't be discouraged from running a game that isn't so popular, like Yume Penguin Monogatari. The game you're watching right now. Even games that you think are impossible to make faster can in fact be speedrun. In fact, I'll give you another example other than Star Fox. You can speedrun Tetris. Sure, you'd have to set some sort of arbitrary standard to get to, but you can do it. In fact, there's going to be a link in the description to a video of Tetris the Grandmaster 3 being speedrun in Awesome Games Done Quick, one of the biggest speedrun events of the year. And believe me, watching that will make you want to start playing Tetris more. So, my point with making this video and making this commentary is not to break down how to play this game fast or how to tell you what games you should run or not. It's more or less just to tell you that if you're ever thinking of speedrunning, that don't limit yourself to what's popular, you know, Mario games, Zelda games. Sure, there's going to be a lot of people that play those games, and it's with no surprise that those games will be highly competitive and you'll find lots of people to learn from. But there's also games that aren't so popular. Take for example Little Samson that I showed off I think last week or a few weeks ago. There aren't many speedrunners for that, yet it's probably my favorite speed game that I play. Speedrunning is meant to be a hobby. Sure, it might be competitive sometimes when you get into races and such, and sure, the game might frustrate you at times when you die unexpectedly or something unbelievable happens, but it's meant to be fun. That doesn't mean you have to latch on to the most popular games. It's about picking a game that you will enjoy, something that you will be able to play over and over and over again and still enjoy. But anyway, that's all I have to say for the day. I know I didn't talk about the game at all, and I didn't talk about any of the mechanics about this weird game from Japan, but I wanted to make this commentary for those who might be interested in speedrunning a game in the future. In fact, this commentary probably didn't even make it to the end of the gameplay, but that's beside the point. So, as always, I'd like to thank Multifarious for hosting this video. Next week we'll probably be having a similar discussion on a topic like this, rather than covering another breakdown. But that's for next week to be decided. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and maybe I sort of got you interested in speedrunning a game. If you did, feel free to leave a like or a comment down below to show your support for this series. And I guess that's it. I'll see you all next week for another episode of Speed Breakdown. Peace!